Becoming a Jambassador was one of my biggest dreams when I was a kid, and for those of you who don't know, the program was launched back in 2016 when AJHQ invited a bunch of people to go to VidCon with them and to become Jambassadors after that. They were like the most popular content creators at the time. But in recent years, not only has AJHQ focused more on getting play wild Jambassadors rather than classic, but they've also hired some very, very questionable people. And today I want to talk about all of that, as well as why I would never apply to become one, even though, like I said, I was eligible when I was younger. First off, I want to talk about what it actually takes to become a Jambassador, which it kind of depends on who you are, but like I said, we'll get into that later on in the video. But Animal Jam officially states that you have to post content at least once a month. It has to be appropriate for the platform on which it's posted. 2,000 or more followers on your primary media sharing platform, so like subscribers on YouTube, followers on Instagram, you get the drift. You got to be 13 or older, and you got to follow AJ's rules and terms of service while in-game and show a positive attitude in and outside of the game. So none of that actually says that you have to be family friendly, which clearly I am not, and I wasn't on my old channel either. But these rules don't say you have to be. It just says that you have to make content appropriate for the platform you post on. And I have proof that you don't have to be family friendly or make family friendly content. Like I said, we'll get into it. But what are even the perks of being a Jambassador, you might ask? Well, there's really none. At least not for when you're a classic player and don't do AJ Play Wild at all. AJ says that you get early game content previews so that you can prepare a post ahead of time. But realistically, Classic doesn't get any updates, so that wouldn't help me at all. Interviews and discussion panels with staff members, that one sounds kind of cool. I just don't believe that they actually do that. I think they're lying. Opportunities to host monthly in-game promotional events with special prizes. Everybody knows about the contest prizes, but honestly, if I was in a position to be hosting those, I would just give them to my friends. Like, I mean, we're gonna USD sell, I don't care. Collaboration opportunities with official social media channels, I don't care. Opportunities to publish their content in-game. When have they ever had a Jambassador publish content in-game, apart from having their plushies and shit? I don't think that's real. And then finally, you got letters of recommendation for their school and job applications. You've got me so fucked up if you think I'm getting AJHQ to write me a letter of recommendation to get a professional job. A furry game? A childhood favorite furry game? I could never. Now let's talk about some of those questionable people that I was mentioning at the start of the video, where AJHQ probably shouldn't allow them to be Jambassadors. Well, come into the Wild Explorers tent up there in Coral Canyons and go over to the Jambassador plushie shop. On the second page, you'll see bootleggreely. Now what did bootleggreely do? Well, first of all, he became a Jambassador due to making art, I believe. I don't think he made videos or anything. I think he was an artist and just was popular due to that. But if you look up the name bootleggreely on Google and go to the second link from the top, it'll show you a bunch of art that he's posted publicly online under the exact same name as his Jambassador name. Well, at first it looks innocent enough, but you scroll, 2 or 3 pages down, and guess what you see? Huge, gigantic dick. Not the worst, not the best for sure. You keep scrolling a little bit further, curiosity kills the cat. Guess what you see? That's right, it's Greeley getting his butthole tentacled by a phantom. With his dick out, by the way. With his full entire dick out and balls. And you watch him getting tentacled in the ass. You keep scrolling because you think it can't get worse than this. And it doesn't, granted, it doesn't get worse than that. But he did draw Liza with her tits and puss out. Are we serious? Are we actually serious? Don't worry, it gets a little bit worse. You go even further. Whoopsies. Chocolate for Froggy? Everybody knows what Chocolate for Froggy did at this point, but if you don't, she was friends with Hyena91, who was a kink artist and somebody who was like predatory on Classic and Feral. Maybe even Play Wild, I'm not too sure. I haven't looked too much into the Hyena91 lore. But Chocolate for Froggy was a friend of him. And if you look up Chocolate for Froggy, you don't even find an account because they don't have one anymore. But AJHQ still leaves them on the Jambassador plushie shop. Both of them, bootleggreely and Chocolate for Froggy. But it gets even funkier. because there's a third person that I want to mention, but I can't go in depth on because I don't know. It's a really tricky situation. There's a lot of lore behind this person. So I highly suggest you just look them up, watch the Keck video. It's informative for sure. But this person, Australium, didn't even meet the minimum requirements to become a Jambassador in the first place. They just knew Snowy Claw, who was a AJHQ employee at the time, might still be, who was also an ex-Jambassador, and had Snowy Claw put in a good word for them to let them become a Jambassador. So they pretty much got nepoed into it, a nepo baby Jambassador, which is pretty crazy in my opinion. Now there's a lot more bullshit to them. They are an ex-Jambassador now. They had to step down for pretty terrible reasons, honestly, which again, I'm not going to get into. But they were allowed to become Jambassadors without even meeting the requirements. So you don't even need to be family friendly. We've proven that with bootleggreely drawing rule 34 of Greely getting his butthole tentacled. Chocolate for Froggy supported somebody who was drawing kink art on the game, which is not allowed. It's technically against TOS, even though AJHQ kept allowing Hyena91 to post it. And then Australium didn't even meet the minimum requirements to become a Jambassador. They were just friends with Snowy Claw, allegedly, if I'm understanding the story right. So, like I said, it depends on who you are as to whether or not you're allowed to be a Jambassador. Would I ever be allowed to be? Probably not. Even though I met the 2,000 subscriber goal, I don't have that anymore on my old channel, but I did for a while. And now I'm not family friendly, that's for sure. I don't have a positive outlook on the game, but at least I'm not drawing Greely getting his butthole fucked. Sorry, but I'm not doing that. I'm not supporting somebody who's a predator or drawing kink art on this game. I also was eligible technically, which Australium was not. So it's just kind of a sham now at this point. And like I said, there's really no great benefits to becoming a Jambassador. I mean, all the things, all the perks that they have on their website don't seem to really line up with anything I would need or benefit from. There's really no benefit to becoming a Jambassador apart from getting your own plushie and the Jambassador plaque. Like, having your own plushie is pretty rad. That's a ton of aura. But there's just too many problems with the program. Like I said, they'll hire predators. They will hire people who aren't even eligible to become Jambassadors and allow them into the program. It's kind of just a joke at this point to be a Jambassador. And unfortunately, I don't really enjoy any of the current Jambassadors content as is. I mean, some of them do giveaways all the time, which, you know, most content creators do that anyway. But I feel like that kind of just sets the standard in general for AJ content, because if you need 2,000 subscribers to become eligible to even apply, then you're probably going to do giveaways to get those subscribers. I feel like in general, Jambassador is kind of just pay to win at this point. And even funnier, like, there's no benefit to being a Jambassador. Like, I guess you get some more status in the game, but this is fucking Animal Jam, who cares? And you don't even, like, AJHQ says that they'll give you early previews to updates and stuff, but really the only recent update we've gotten that meant anything was us losing the Jammer wall, allegedly because a Jambassador was told to still themselves on their Jammer wall. Which, if I told AJHQ somebody sent me a death threat on Jammer wall, they would tell me to fist my own butt and sniff my knuckles after, because they just don't care. I mean, who gives a fuck about what you're told on Animal Jam? You got to just thug it out and tough it out. There's no, I mean, if anything, AJHQ could have just limited what you're allowed to say on the Jammer wall. They could have just made it so you can't tell people to kill themselves on their platform instead of getting rid of the entire feature because a Jambassador got their feelings hurt. Which, I saw that on a Reddit post. I don't know if it's fully 100% true, but if it genuinely got taken down because a Jambassador was told to still themselves, this whole entire game, all of the Jambassadors, every bit of this is just embarrassing and a joke in my opinion. There was always drama with Jambassadors. I mean, Apari literally turned into a SoundCloud racist rapper for a little bit there. He pissed on Instagram Live. He did all kinds of weird shit. Got somebody banned, allegedly, I think. Bepper got somebody banned, was hacking or scamming. Everybody's got their drama. I mean, the Jambassadors were never perfect. But in recent years, they just keep hiring the worst of the fucking worst. People who aren't even eligible to become one, and people who just draw porn of alphas, people who support predators, people who are predators. It's just insane to me. There's really no benefit to being a Jambassador. It would just mean that I'm like associated with some of the worst people on Animal Jam, and I fucking hate that. I don't like it at all. But let me know what you guys think about the Jambassadors. Would you ever join it if you were invited? And just let me know your general thoughts and opinions on all of it. Like, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of them, but maybe if a lot of shit changed with it, I would consider being one. But there would have to be a huge like overhaul with everything, bro. I'd have to pretty much run that shit. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun shit. Join the Discord server if you haven't already. It's down in the description. And I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.